Hello, my name's Matt Shearsby and I lead the KPMG Crimson Wing Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Operations practice. This is the product that most of you will probably know as Dynamics AX. So today we're going to look at some of the client tools available for you within Dynamics. Now the client tools are a very important way to surface reporting directly to the end user. We're also going to look briefly at the embedded reports of Microsoft Dynamics. Now these should be familiar for most of you that know the product. Then we're going to take some time looking at the powerful Excel integration and how this really empowers your users to be able to do their work in their favourite database tool, Microsoft Excel. We'll take a brief time to talk about financial reporting. So I'll hand over to Pascal and he'll do for you a detailed session on Management Reporter and the tools available for your end users in Microsoft Dynamics. And then finally, we're going to take some time to look at Power BI, a new tool set for Dynamics 365 for operations that gives your users the power to build their own reports simply and easily and then search for the data that they need to make their jobs easier. So we're going to start off by looking at the client tools. And I hear you probably asking, well, these aren't reporting tools, are they? But what they do is they give the users the ability to search and filter the data as needed. I'm starting off here by opening the sales orders forms. What I'm going to do though is make this more suitable for my day-to-day tasks. First thing I need to do is I want to change the label on the channel. I want to hide it because I'm not going to be using that piece of information. Now, status isn't very descriptive for me. I want a more useful piece of information. I'm going to change that to say order status. So again, this makes it more personalized to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this field to somewhere more useful for me. I want it on the left side of the screen so that I can get to it right where I need it and I'll be able to see it as soon as I open the form. In addition to this, maybe there are some fields that aren't available in this form and I want to add them. Well, that's easy to do as well. As long as they're available in the query, you can see that I can quickly click here and they're added to the screen, and now I can move those around on the screen as I need to as well. So I'm just going to drag currency across right over to the left hand side as well, and you see that the screen updates with this information now. So I've effectively surfaced the information that I need directly to the user. What I can then do is I can export this. So say for example I'm the manager and I want to share this layout with my employees. Well, I can now send this across to them and they can have this same personalization in their organization as well. And if I'm not happy with what I've done, then I can simply clear it out and the form resets to the standard. This is a really great way to surface the right information to the users and make sure that they can get to the data they need without having to think too much about it. And you see, with the reset done, the screen is returned back to the standard. Next up, we're going to look at the embedded reports of Microsoft Dynamics 365. Now these are a tool that have been around for a while, but you'll see that they are still very much part of the core product. Again, I'm going to focus in on sales order inquiry and processing, and I'm going to focus in on the same form as well to take me right to where I need to look at the invoices. So I'm using a sales order that's already been invoiced here. What I'm going to do is open up the invoice form, run the report, and take you through some of the features of the reporting. Just open it in the viewer, show the original version of the documents, give it a few seconds to process, and you'll see the familiar reporting services reports. Now what can I do here? Well, if it's a large report, I may want to be able to find certain pieces of data. Well, I can easily search for them. And you'll see that it's found the word action within the report, so maybe I'm finding this customer. And I can also zoom in and out. So say, for example, I can't see the information very clearly. What I can also do from here is I can export to a wide variety of formats. In this case, I'm going to export to Word. So with just a few clicks, you can see now that I've got the information I need from this report surfaced directly into Microsoft Word. Just give it a second to run, and then I'm going to drag the screen across, and you'll be able to see that the exact same report is now showing up in Microsoft Word. There we go. See, the format is exactly the same. It's familiar to the users, but now we can send this out to the customer directly in Word, or we could in fact send it directly in a Word format in an email as well. In addition to this, within the report, I can use the same hyperlinks and they take me to the forms as well. So again, the navigation for the client is very simple to do. Okay, next up, and probably exciting to the accountants among you, is the Excel integration. What I'm going to show you here is how general journal processing can be run directly from Excel without the need to use the client significantly. So for a change, I'm going to general journal processing. I'm going to open up a new general journal, create the journal, but from then on, I'm going to do all my work in Excel. And you'll see that the user interactions as I'm going along are very intuitive and very simple to use. So now all I need to do is open Excel. I've got some predefined formats so you can customize and create your own templates with just being able to drag and drop them around. If you give it a few seconds now, it will open up in Excel. Here we go. And this maintains the security model as well. So there's no need for me to worry about people being able to do things in Excel that they wouldn't be able to do in the full client. You'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen, it has logged me into Dynamics using the data connector. And as I'm clicking along, you'll also notice that the data, as it's retrieved, it actually gives me all of the lookup values as well. So I don't need to remember what the company names are or what the supplier accounts are. And in this case, you can see that I'm using the data as well. So I click through each of the individual fields, I get all of the lookup values that I need. So I'm going to create a journal for company GBSI. I'm going to set the account type of supplier. And then it gives me the list of the accounts for the supplier as well, making my life very easy and me not having to remember this information, and also making sure that when it goes back to Dynamics that it is consistent. I give the journal a description. Again, currency, full lookup of all the currency values held in the system. In this case, I'm doing a credit. I need to select the offset company, and again, the offset account type as well. In this case, it's customer. And you'll see, instead of getting a supplier list this time, I get a list of customers. So that's it. That's my first line created. But actually, now we can really see the power of using Excel. What I can do is use the Excel tools to copy and paste the rows. So instantly, I can create a large number of rows. And all I need to do now is do some simple corrections on the data to get it to look and feel how I want. So I want to use the same accounts, and I want to use the same amounts from currency. Now, typically, you'd actually be doing real-life data, so you'd actually know exactly what you were doing here. I'm kind of just making this up because it's a useful tool to see all of the fact that the data gets validated when it gets into Dynamics. And again, Excel's tried to be intelligent here and set the dates, but I want them all to be consistent. Once I'm happy that my data's ready, I can click Publish. Now, Microsoft Dynamics now goes back to the system. Again, it validates my security privileges, and it uses the business logic in the system to validate that this information can be input. We have to wait a few seconds while the data is published. We can see it's processed our 32 changes. Now we can see, in fact, that we have our debit and a credit of 3,200, and it is also allocated the line numbers. I don't need to save this because it has been saved within Dynamics. If I did want to keep this for record, though, I could, and I could attach it. And just for the proof, let's go to the general journal, and we'll see in here that, in fact, we have a general journal for £3,200. Give the screen a few seconds, and we'll see that there are indeed 32 lines in here as well. So I think you can agree with me that actually this makes the process, from an accountancy's perspective, and anything else you might want to use Excel for, very, very useful. We maintain the business logic, and we maintain the security principles of Dynamics. Now, the next subject I'm going to briefly touch upon is financial reporting in Microsoft Dynamics. However, my colleague Pascal Krukniet is much better placed to give you a detailed session on this. So I will leave it to him for another day to take you through this and how this can be configured for your users to do what they need to do. Now, the final and perhaps the most exciting subject I'm going to talk to you about today is Power BI. So this is new for Dynamics 365 for operations, and there has been a lot of noise made about this. That's because it is a very interesting tool. The first thing I'm going to show you is how this is embedded directly in the client. So we'll see here, in my manager self-service, I've already added a few Power BI tiles. What I'm going to do quickly is go away and add a few more as well. All I need to do is click the Add Power BI Tiles, and all my Power BI tile catalogues are shown to me. Interestingly, these don't have to just be data from Dynamics. So you could have data from a wide variety of data sources, your other systems, perhaps your manufacturing information or your retail solutions as well. As long as I have access to those Power BI tiles, they will show up in this list. So what I'm going to do is just select my new hires, same period. I'm going to click OK. And straight away we can see that that tile is now going to be added to my desktop. There we go. So these are Power BI tiles that have already been created and are available. But you'll notice they remain interactive. As I scroll around, the screen's updates and it shows me the direct information related to these. If I jump out by clicking on one of the tiles, it actually takes me through to Power BI now. And now we can see the full expense analysis reports. There are a large number of reports delivered by Microsoft for Dynamics as standard, and this number is increasing all the time. We can see here information related to the expense analysis in the organisation. As I click on each section, you'll notice that the other elements of the report all update automatically, giving me a really interactive process. All I need to do is click away and the filter's removed. Now maybe I'm not interested in all of this information, I want to add further filtering. But again, I can do this as well. You can see, actually I'm just going to show this for all companies. And in addition to this, as the report updates, you'll see in the bottom right hand side of the screen, that also I can see this information directly in my mobile phone as well. So whether I'm on my desk or whether I'm on the road, I can gain access to this valuable insight. So that's an example of one of the reports. There are also a large number of other reports available. I'm just going to take you through a few more. So here we can see the cost management report. Again, it's another standard report of Dynamics. I can see all of my inventory balances and I can scroll around this information as I see fit as well. You'll see down the left-hand side there are a large number of reports also that we've been working on internally. Here's one that we made earlier. It's a quotation analysis report. What it allows the organisation to do is to analyse their quotations and see what their opportunity is, whether they're likely to be winning the work they're working on, and also what profit margin they're looking to make as well. So we can see here for this quotation has an estimated revenue of £1 million. As we click on the information, we'll see we're filtering by the categories. The other information in the report automatically updates as well. So maybe I want to look at a number of quotations in tandem, and I can also do that. Now we can see quotations 16 and 17, and indeed 18. My total revenue for these is £1.4 million, and my total net likely to be £3 million. I can now analyse the performance and the likelihood of these individual quotations as well. Here's another example of a report we've built. This is a cost value recognition report. So we're looking here at live projects. So how are our projects currently performing? This means that we can take proactive action. We don't have to wait month on month to receive this information. This is a direct feed from Dynamics. I'm looking at project XYZ here. I can see my in-month margin, margin to date, and my estimated final margin. The information allows me to see where I've got my problems in my organisation. So now focusing on the same project and looking at August, what I can see here is I can see my costs in my resource category, my values. I'm focusing on my staff, and actually I can see I've got a bit of a problem with my margin for my staff in this month. So that would guide me that I need to take some action. Maybe I need to look at reducing my staff costs, or maybe I need to increase my revenue. What I can also do, as you can see here, is I can export this straight to PowerPoint. So if I'm in a meeting and I'm trying to present this information, I can take it straight out to PowerPoint. We see when it's loaded up in PowerPoint, just need to drag the screen across. And with no effort at all, I have that visualization directly available in PowerPoint. Now, perhaps some of the information that I need isn't available directly in a report. This also isn't a problem. What I can do is I can directly query the reports, and I can actually ask questions in natural language. Here I'm asking, what is the profit margin for the last 5 years? Now there isn't a report that's going to show this, but Power BI has the intelligence to be able to simply and easily surface this information. And then can continue to filter this further by ledger. So what is our profit margin by ledger? And now you can see the information is given straight to me in a bar graph. So again, second query, again, natural language. I'm not having to write SQL code. I don't have to understand anything technical. I just have to know what the question I want to ask is. So what was our operational expenditure last quarter? And you notice that it has the intelligence that I didn't even have to spell it correctly. I got the spelling wrong and it still worked it out. Again, I'm breaking this down by ledger. So now we look at some of the inventory reporting capabilities. Again, you can see that I can just type natural language questions to the system. It does not need to be me typing SQL commands. You'll see that I've mistyped inventory again, but the system has the intelligence to understand what I mean and make an assumption. So I'm looking for my inventory ending balance by resource group, an important piece of information to me as the user, but not one where we have a published report for. Again, it sorts this by bar chart, but actually I prefer a pie chart. I ask it for a pie and this is instantly given as a visualization. Much the same as the other standard reports, we can also see here that as I scan round, it understands the questions I'm asking. And what about our HR data? Well, actually, there's the ability to ask questions around the HR information. What's our average annual salary? So we can see here straight away it's understood my data, 35,000. Actually, but then maybe I'm more interested in this by country. And it has the intelligence again to give me a really good visualization of this information. But however, I want to break this down further by departments. And now I've got a map with the pie charts on it showing me how the annual salary is broken down by departments. We do hope you've enjoyed this session on reporting and management information. We know a lot of the other partners are focusing on Power BI. We do feel this is important, but actually there's a lot of value in the client tools and the other reporting tool sets available to you. If you'd like to know more, please get in contact with us.